What's going on, everybody? Today we have special guest Tommy Cuozzi. He'll be fighting on Dana White's Contender Series August 19th against Romero Jimenez. Tommy, thanks for coming on.
Dude, thanks for having me.
When did you initially get the call? I think I read somewhere that you actually got it on your honeymoon. So what was it kind of like getting the call that you're going to be fighting on Dana White's Contender Series?
So it was pretty cool. My wife and I actually we took our honeymoon a year after the marriage. We had a lot going on. We had a fight right before the wedding. Just a ton going on. Couldn't fit into our schedule. So a year later we went on our honeymoon, and about a week into that, I got a text that was like, "Hey, we got you an opponent for this." So I kind of knew like my name was in there, but I didn't know that I'd have an opponent. And they hit me up. It was like midnight in Japan, and I was like, "Dude,
Right.
that's sick. Let me stay up for 2 more hours researching this guy."
Yeah, I saw you went out to Vegas a little bit ago to go ahead and do some pre-media. So that's kind of what was it like, going to the Apex and being able to do that?
Dude, it was cool. I didn't expect. I mean, I don't like to have a lot of expectations on anything, I don't want other hopes to be up or down, but I got there and it was not what I expected at all. They treated you like a celebrity. We went and did all sorts of interviews, different photo shoots, different training sessions. It was weird for sure. It was a very odd experience, but like in a good way.
Right. Yes, I guess how does your training camp and weight cut kind of change? Because you primarily fight North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia. So I guess having to travel a little bit across the country, how does that kind of change your weight cut and preparation?
It doesn't really. We're gonna be there 3 days beforehand, so I'm gonna get my weight as low as I possibly can before that. And once we get there, if I have any last bit of weight cut to do, sauna, gyms, all that fun stuff. But we're gonna get there Saturday. The fight's on a Tuesday, weigh-ins are Monday. So it's not a whole lot in terms of traveling. We're gonna have a day and a half to cut weight and be good to go.
Yeah, you've had all finishes thus far in your career. What do you do to ensure in camp that in case you do go three hard rounds? Because this could be your toughest test to date. What?
I think it'll definitely be my toughest test to date, but to ensure that I can go 3 rounds, our gym never slacks on cardio. We prepare for every fight, no matter what the record is, no matter who the guy is, like it's a 5 round championship fight against the best in the world. So we're going in, and the plan is we're either gonna go, full throttle for 30 seconds and hopefully get the finish, or full throttle for 15 minutes and hopefully get the decision. Regardless, we're going full throttle the whole time. We're going to be able to push the pace. It's 15 minutes, so we're to the point now where we can full send for 15 minutes and be good to go.
Understand UFC veteran Derek Brunson's now your manager, and your parents still help out with your management. I guess what is it like just having the support from a guy who's kind of been there and done that, as well as your parents still having an input?
It's cool. It's a lot. I hear because they talk, we talk, and then I talk with them. So it's
Right.
it's a big it's a big circle. So like I hear my parents say something, I'll hear Derek say something, and I'm like, cool, thanks. But
Right.
they're aside from that, all jokes aside, they're so helpful. My parents have gotten me to this point, and then Derek being so familiar with the game and just being there in general, being a fighter and now a manager, still a fighter. He knows what it feels like from a fighter's perspective, from a fighter's standpoint. So he's really out to help us. And like I said, my parents, same deal. They're out to help us. My dad was a fighter. He fought twice. So they're you know, from every aspect of the game, it's covered between the three of them, and it's very helpful.
May of 2024, you actually finished Theo Raylan, who fought on Dana White's Contender Series. I guess, kind of defeating a guy who's already been there and done that. What does that kind of do for your confidence going into this bout?
It part of it's boosted for sure. I feel like part of me feels like I've had my Contender Series fight already. But the other part of me is, we're treating it like any other fight. It's a new guy, it's a new style, it's a new level. So yes, we've already fought somebody in the Contender Series, but we haven't fought Ramiro Jimenez. We haven't gone in there against this guy, against this level. And again, we're treating him like this is a 5 round championship fight against the best in the world, which he could be, but we've got to be better than that. So, like I said, part of it's boosted, but part of it's just, it's another fight. We're going to treat it like every other fight, and we're going to go out and do our thing.
with the Apex setup, will it be a little weird for you kind of fighting with, hardly any fans in there?
I borderline am looking forward to it. And don't get me wrong, I have an insane support system. We had my last two fights were in my hometown and we had like 400 people there, which was insane. And it's amazing to hear your name. I don't hear a lot during my fights, but once the Tommy chant gets to going in the crowd, like late into round one, and I'm hearing my name over and over, like we're hyped. But for this, there's gonna be like maybe 50 people all together in the crowd.
Right.
And it's gonna feel like a training session, like we're going in to hard spar for 3 rounds. And it's a little comforting, I think, to experience that. Obviously, the nerves are still going to be there, but in terms of the crowd, like I'm not fighting in front of 1,000 people this time. I'm fighting in front of 50 and Dana White, which is still nerve wracking, but
Absolutely.
we'll ignore all that while we're in there.
Yeah, your opponent is undefeated as well. According to Sherdog, he hasn't fought since December 2023. I know you don't want to give away, any type of game plan, but does that kind of change the way you approach the bout, coming off a layoff like that?
Not at all. We're still studying, we're still game planning, but at the same time, we like to train for anybody and anything. Like I said, we're game planning, but you never know what's going to happen, especially with that big of a layoff. It could go one of two ways. There could be significant ring rust, or there could be a significant change. And this is an entirely new fighter that I'm dealing with new parts added to their game. So I'm an overthinker, and that's probably exactly what I'm doing. But I don't think it changes anything on my end. It's just kind of there's an unknown whenever you're going to fight somebody, whether they've been out for 5 years or whether they fought last week. You never know.
Yeah, fighting in front of Dana White, there's always been the big thing about being exciting. I guess how do you balance, trying to be exciting but not being over aggressive and, getting.
But clearly, first we're trying to win a contract, right? That's what this is for. We're going in to win that contract. We need to be entertaining. We need to be aggressive. We need to, hunt for the finish. However, a win comes first in every scenario, right? He's Ramiro's ranked. I think the last time I checked, it could be up or down now, but he was 66 pound for pound in North America out of 18, 19,000 people, which is crazy. So if I get a win over a guy like that, regardless of how it happens, that's a big statement, you
Absolutely.
know? So we're going in, like I said, the game plan is just to push. We're going in and whatever we have to do to push that pace. But the win, I think, comes first in this scenario because I'd, want a contract, but I'm not going to
Absolutely.
lose.
Absolutely. Yeah, so how's camp been so far?
It's been good. Added a lot to this camp for sure.
Right.
Been weightlifting, been running, been, just my regular workouts, 5, 6 days a week, more often than not, 6 rather than 5, multiple workouts a day. Really just trying to push that pace, trying to get different looks from different gyms. I've been going to Brunson's MMA and Fitness, Lux Boxing Gym in Danville, been going to the Matrix, been going to Gracie Burlington, obviously my gym. But looks from every different area, every different style, and it's really helping. And it's kind of, I'm getting basics thrown at me that, maybe I knew, but I forgot. I'm getting more advanced stuff thrown at me that it's like, all right, yeah, let's add this into into my pockets. Let's add this into the toolbox. And it's been good having such a support system. But no, camp's been good. It's been tiring, but it's been
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. Yeah, how do you navigate, training camp on top of, teaching as well?
Um, It's I've had a little bit of help this camp, especially with as much as we've added. We've got a couple of coaches at the gym that, step in and help to run the classes and do a great job at that. We got Coach Bubba, we've got my dad, we've got Corbin, Coach Joe. So they're able to step in when I can, back out. We got Coach Motley or John, whatever he prefers. Feel like his coaching name would be John, but we call him Motley.
Right.
Just from every scenario, my mom coaches a kickboxing class. So if I've got to step out, they step in. But I primarily I'll coach the kids class when I'm there and the jujitsu classes during fight camp. And then out of fight camp, I'll coach a little bit more. But the kids class is they're fun. They keep me on my toes, take my mind off of the fight too.
Yeah, you kind of spoke on earlier. What was it like, being able to fight in your hometown at Moorhead High School, just basically in your backyard?
It was awesome. We could sleep in our same bed after weigh-ins. We could go to like a local restaurant after weigh-ins, eat, and then go home and like cuddle with my dogs and hang out with my wife in our own home, play video games if I want to. It was cool. It was relaxing. The fight itself wasn't relaxing, but there's a more relaxing environment as opposed to being somewhere unfamiliar. We don't recognize this place. But that's also what we're used to. So
Yeah, on August 19th, will you be walking out to Sweet Carolina, or what's your walkout song going to be?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think we get a walkout song.
Gotcha, gotcha.
However, I don't know. If we do, it might be Sweet Caroline. The funny thing is, it's almost meant to be. They're having like a Neil Diamond Sweet Caroline like tribute show in Vegas that same like weekend.
Right.
So it's kind of like meant to be. I was gonna walk out to the One Piece like fighting theme, but I was like, I don't know. But it's kind of if I get one, we'll do Sweet Caroline, I think.
Yeah, this is a non-MMA question. On Facebook, what's going on with the lawnmowers? I thought that was kind of funny.
Dude, my dad's lawn, horrible, by the way. Uh, that started when my wife and I first bought our house. I obviously started with lawn care, started making the lawn look good. Um, and I would send it to my dad, be like, "Hey, just mowed the lawn," and he'd send me his, be like, "Just mowed mine." And we joke and be like, "Ah, it looks terrible. Ah, it looks horrible." Well, then the following year, we brought it to social media, and everyone loved it. Everyone was like, "Yo, you guys should go, viral with this. You should, you do this to your lawn, do that to your lawn." Everyone was just jumping
Right,
in,
right.
and it doesn't change the fact that my dad lawn sucked. But my favorite thing to do now is I'll see a post on Facebook, and it's like, "Hey, any recommendations on lawn care? Like, I don't have a mower, my guy quit, this and that." And instead of a helpful suggestion, I'll just tag my dad in the comments and be like, "Not this guy. He's horrible.
Yeah,
Don't do
yeah.
it." But I have a plan on August 19th. And, if we can get in there and get the win, I'm winning Lawn Wars.
Yes. Speaking into, one of your sponsorships, what has Toro, BJJ, and Cage Side meant to you these past few years with supporting you?
They have been my entire wardrobe, be it training, casual, or training, in terms of gear. But they've been my entire wardrobe. I think if I got rid of all my Toro and cage side stuff I'd have like three and a half shirts, maybe a pair of shorts. But they've supported me since day one. I think after my first fight, got the sponsorship, and that not only have they been a helping hand, but they've been great friends throughout the years. Like I've grown to know all of them. Love Boomer. But they have supplied all my training gear, all my like I said, all my clothes. And even before that, before the sponsorship, I thought they were the coolest thing. I still think they're the coolest thing. But they've kept me supplied throughout training because if you do any training, you're gonna go through gear, especially as you're ramping up your training more a little more intense. You're gonna go through some gear, and theirs stands the test of time for sure. They continuously, like, if I need something, they're gonna send like 8 of those somethings and be like,
Right,
hopefully these
right,
will last. And I've had like extra gloves in my trunk for months now, just because I'm like, well, I'm gonna save these until I need them because
right.
we're lasting.
August 20th, the day after the bout, where will you be?
At whatever restaurant is
Yeah,
serving me.
yeah.
I'll be in Vegas, so we're gonna extend it, make it a family vacation. But dude, I'm gonna eat as much as I possibly can. I told my wife I want to be on the floor, like rubbing my stomach in pain.
Yeah.
But you know, we're gonna be having fun. We're doing like a fancy night in Vegas. We're all gonna dress up and just go do the whole Vegas thing that night.
As we wrap up, where can fans and anyone watching find you on any of your socials?
On Instagram, I am tvcjr.mma. On Facebook, I've got a fight page, Tommy Little T Cuozzi. And on TikTok, if you guys want to follow the Toro BJJ page, your boy runs it. But yeah, you guys find me, follow, or don't follow. That's cool too.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, best of luck on August 19th. Thanks for coming on.
Dude, thanks for having me, man.